All right, good morning, guys. It is May 8th, day 7 for this this compost pile, and we've got a bunch of fresh scraps from the garden, kind of the last of the spring scraps. So that gives me an excuse to flip it one last time, and I'm gonna add a few things at the end, and I'll take you guys through that. Just something brand new I'm gonna try, and then we're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave it for a long time. So I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm just gonna set up the camera over there, and as I flip it, I'll just go through what I'm thinking about. So let's go. Okay. Probably can't see that, but it's about 138, 135 to 140, somewhere in there. So it has come down from its peak there. So. Birds just going nuts. Okay, so when I built the pile, it took a day to get up to about 70, and then the next day it was 140, and there was just a ton of worms on top. So the day after that, it was 160, and the worms had migrated to the outside of the pile. So that's super cool. You can tell this top bit is really dry. I think that's largely due because of the amount of nitrogen I put in there. So it'll be interesting to see if there's any anaerobic pockets or anything in here. So, but so far so good. Smells good. I did bring some water because of the high nitrogen level. I think it really uses up a lot of the water in there. So yeah, a lot different than the fall pile. So squeeze test. Yeah, no water coming out. Feels really dry, so I'm just gonna add more water. And because it got so hot so quick, I'm actually gonna add some more carbon to it. I've got another bag of leaves, so I'm gonna add that, sprinkle that in, and I've got some old pieces of paper, so I'm just gonna throw that in. This covered the old compost piles and the worm bins, so that's a good carbon source for it as well. I just want to make sure that I'm not matting anything down or anything. So. A little more greens that we got from the garden. Again, really not worried about the CN ratio too much here. All right, so yeah, the pile's nice. Smells good. I mean, obviously it's only been 7 days. Things aren't breaking down a ton yet, but it's good to get in and just kind of mix everything up here and see how dry it got. Like, I was thinking that with a higher nitrogen pile, it would dry out faster just because how fast the temperature came up. But yeah, it's really cool to see it. So, yeah, last bit of sticks, coffee pucks. And something very special. These are all the flowers from Colleen and I's wedding, and all the flowers that she saved throughout the years. So they are gonna go in as well. Add some sweet carbon. Try to keep the glass out. Okay, so what am I going to be doing differently with this today? Well, I came across a guy by the name of Steve Solomon. Kind of big fan of the public library system, so I've been getting books and reading them, and some are good and some aren't, but this the Steve Solomon one actually triggered me to go out and buy the book. Just a really fascinating guy. He's lived in many parts of the world, many different soils, and lots of successes and lots of failures. And his book, The Intelligent Gardener, is something that I would highly recommend if you were really nerdy about gardening, like I'm tending to get to be here. Fascinating book. So in that book, there is a section on composting, and he does it in a fairly unique way. And what I'm going to attempt to do is mimic that. So when he builds a pile, he will only flip it once. And the other twist that he uses is he uses a clay, kind of like a clay slurry, to seal it, and then covers it with hay. Well, I don't have clay or hay, but what I do have is a bunch of old pots with old potting soil. So what I'm going to do is build this and then cover it with a layer of soil, and then gently water it. Try to create almost like a crust, and then just leave it all summer. And then get in there and see what happens. So super stoked about that. Really glad that the wood chips were such small particle size. Really helps. Leaves are going to add a lot of moisture. Tons of worms. There's tons of worms in the perimeter of the pile. And I'm flipping into this one. So the other thing I'm thinking, and maybe you guys can help me out with, is that this came up to top of kind of the range that I'm comfortable with, about 155, 160 within 3 days, which is really fast. And it only stayed there for, maybe a couple days, and then it dropped quite quickly. So I'm thinking, because the pile was kind of so dry, maybe that was a big reason why the temperature dropped too. It just kind of ran out of that moisture, the moisture to feed off of. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that, but I think that might be what's going on there, why it dropped so quickly again. So I'm sure this is going to come back up real quick, especially adding like more nitrogen in here as well. So but yeah, we'll see. Kind of nice that I started the pile with carbon and leaves. It's just kind of pulling up really nice and easy. hanging baskets. Okay. A little more water. A lot of this stuff will be pretty hydrophobic, so I'll probably be able to add quite a bit of water. Awesome. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, easy money. Got her done. She is going to sit. No guarantees in life, but she's going to sit for a while. So fingers crossed it'll work. If it doesn't, I'll learn something. But I think that's a really cool method that Steve Solomon uses. Really, really smart guy. His books are highly technical, but yeah, it's fun reading them for the third or fourth time. But yeah, we'll see how that one does. I will get some temperatures over the next few months and see what that material looks like. Obviously, don't have clay, don't have straw, but I do have soil and I do have cardboard. So I'm gonna try to mimic that and just see how it does. And yeah, if you guys got any thoughts on why the pile dried out so quickly and what that's related to, I'd be super interested in learning about that. So yeah, just awesome. You guys' comments on the videos has just been legendary. So please keep them coming, and not bad for 9 a.m. Stay awesome.